Before just jumping in and getting to work in Adobe's video and audio applications, it's a good idea to get familiar with the user interface, or in other words, the work area of these applications. One of the best features about these programs is that their interfaces look and act very similar. This makes learning how to use additional programs in the suite much easier. Now we're going to start here in After Effects, but as we'll soon see, the interface elements we're going to look at are consistent throughout the video suite. The work area is comprised of panels that are attached or docked to the interface. Each panel is contained in a set of panels called a frame. As you can see here, the info panel and the audio panel are grouped together into one frame. Now you can move and adjust panels and frames until you get the interface exactly the way you want it. If I hover my cursor over a horizontal divider between frames, I can click and drag my mouse up and down to resize vertically. Likewise, I can go to a vertical divider and resize horizontally. If I go to a corner where multiple frames meet, I can resize in multiple directions at once. I can also move these panels and frames around to regroup them. To do this, just click on a panel's tab where the name is and move to the desired location. As you move the panel around, you'll see these colored shape overlays. These are called drop zones. If you release the mouse while a center drop zone is active, the panel you are moving will then be grouped with the other panels in that frame. If you instead release the mouse while the cursor is over one of the outside drop zones, you will create a new frame. Now, if you have many panels grouped together in the same frame, so much so that you can't see all of the content, a scroll bar will appear and allow you to navigate between the panels. Now, if you click on the left side of a panel, you'll move the panel. But if you click and drag the right side of the panel, you'll move the entire frame. Notice as I move the frame that my cursor is different to indicate that I'm moving the whole frame and not just one panel. Now, if you prefer to have a floating palette instead of a docked panel, simply hold the Control key on the PC or the Command key on the Mac while moving the panel to undock it. To redock it, just click and drag the panel to move it where you want to go. Drop zones will appear and behave as before. I could also use the tilde key to maximize panels. Now, the tilde key is a little squiggle that's above the tab key on your keyboard. As I hover my mouse over the composition panel and hit the tilde key, you'll notice that it becomes full size. Hit the tilde key again to restore the panel. Now in After Effects, Premiere, and Encore, the tilde key will maximize or make full screen whatever panel your cursor happens to be over. Now in any of these applications, I can go to the Edit menu and select Preferences. Now on a Mac, you'd want to go to the Premiere menu and select Preferences. And I'm going to go down to the bottom here and select User Interface. From here, I could make the user interface brighter or darker or reset to the default. In Sound Booth, the tilde key maximizes whatever panel is currently selected. So if I select the Files panel and then bring my cursor over to the Editor and then hit the tilde key, it's the Files panel and not the Editor that becomes full size. Now, instead of using keyboard shortcuts for adjusting the interface, you could also go to the panel flyout menus, the little circles with the arrow here, and you could make interface changes here. We could undock or close panels or frames. We could also maximize and restore frames as well. Now, once we have our interface the way we like it, we can save our workspace. We can do that by either going to the Workspace drop-down in the interface and selecting New Workspace, or we can go to the Window menu and select Workspace, New Workspace. Now in Premiere, because there is no Workspace drop-down built into the interface, we must go to the Window menu, Workspace, New Workspace to create a workspace. Now you'll notice that in each of these applications, there are many sample workspaces that ship with the software. These workspaces are task-based if you would like to use one. For example, I might use the color correction workspace if I was doing color correction inside of Premiere. Now, one last concept before we leave this subject. Even though these applications all perform very different tasks, the general workflow is similar from application to application. All of them have a project panel, or in the case of Soundbooth, a files panel. We first begin our projects by importing elements to use into this panel. In any of the programs, we can just double-click inside the files or the project panel to import footage. These programs also have a similar interface which can be saved via workspaces. So essentially, learning one application gives you the building blocks to explore others as well. No matter what application brings you to the suite, the elements they have in common make it easy to venture out and learn the others.